Let me be blunt. Your life is rarely destroyed by punches. It's destroyed by questions. A harmless-looking question. A friendly smile. A concerned tone of voice. A sentence that sounds soft and innocent. And you answer it. The moment you do, you hand over control to someone who wants power over you. A skilled manipulator doesn't need to prove anything. They only need to make you doubt yourself. They don't chain your hands. They chain your mind. With guilt, with shame, with anger, with exhaustion. You think you're arguing with them. You're not. You're fighting yourself. I'm not here to sell toxic positivity. And I'm not here to teach you how to become cold or emotionless. I'm here to teach you something rarer than gold. Clarity. Because clarity is what manipulators fear most. Manipulation survives in confusion. It survives in emotional fog. It survives when you stop trusting your own judgment. In this video, we're going to expose 5 trap questions commonly used by manipulative people to steal control from you. We'll start with their final move, the classic, "Why can't you just move on?" and work our way toward the most poisonous question of all. Why are you so sensitive? You don't need to yell. You don't need to lecture anyone. You don't need to defend every observation you make. You simply need to stand tall. Take one breath and respond like a stoic calm, clear, direct, and never apologetic for seeing reality as it is. Stoicism is not philosophy for wall decorations. To me, it is mental armor against psychological manipulation. I use 3 simple principles. 1. The truth is never in a hurry. Anyone pushing you to answer immediately wants an emotional reaction. I don't give them that gift. I breathe. I slow down. I take back control. I am responsible only for my part. Their emotions are not my responsibility. Their discomfort is not my sentence. Their reaction does not define my reality. I refuse to play on their chessboard. Manipulators always try to change the subject, from the issue to your personality, from evidence to emotion, from facts to keeping the peace. I bring everything back to one place, reality. A Stoic doesn't argue endlessly. A Stoic reframes. Sometimes one clear sentence is enough to expose the entire performance. When someone tries to pull me into guilt, I remember guilt is the favorite weapon of a liar. When someone tries to pull me into anger, I remember anger is free fuel for a manipulator. When someone tries to wear me down with exhaustion, I remember exhaustion is how they win without proving anything. So my goal is not to defeat them. My goal is to stay clear, to keep my mind from being dragged around, and to let their behavior reveal itself. Now let's look at the 5 trap questions. We'll begin with the one manipulators use when they're running out of moves. Why can't you just move on? Question 1. Why can't you just move on? This is the final card. When they can no longer deny it, no longer blame you, and no longer make you feel guilty, they switch to a peaceful tone. Just let it go. It's in the past. Move on. You'll feel better. It sounds like peace. But what is it really? Avoiding responsibility. They want you to become so tired that you stop asking questions. Because once you stop asking, they win. No proof. No accountability. No correction. Just your silence. Here is how I see it. Moving on is not wrong. Moving on before clarity is wrong. You cannot build a house on mud and expect it to stand, and you cannot call something healing when it is really just burying the truth. A Stoic is not controlled by urgency. I don't explode. I don't use the past to punish people. I only require one thing: truth. My response is, I'll move on when I understand what happened. Not before. One sentence, but it cuts off the strategy of wearing you down. It makes one thing clear: my peace will not be bought with confusion. And to make it even stronger, I add one closing question. So how do you want to resolve this properly? A decent person will enter the conversation. A manipulator will become irritated, avoidant, or angry because they have lost their escape route. Remember, peace cannot replace accountability. And real peace does not come from ignoring the truth. It comes from facing it. Question: to me, lie to you. This question is theater. A performance. A wounded voice. Innocent eyes. As if your suspicion itself is the crime. Me lie to you. You really think I'm that kind of person? It sounds soft. But it's toxic. Because the goal is to make you feel guilty for asking the question. And once you feel guilty, you stop asking. Your warning instinct gets killed by pity. Let me be clear. An honest person doesn't need to perform. An honest person builds trust through repeated behavior. A liar depends on dramatic promises because they lack evidence. A Stoic does not get hypnotized by emotion. I don't rush to say, of course not. I let silence sit for 2 or 3 seconds. That silence is not weakness. It is discipline. Then I answer, that's not the point. The question is, if you were lying, would I know? Boom. The stage changes. It's no longer I'm guilty for doubting you. It becomes, are you being transparent? Manipulators hate this question because it brings everything back to one principle: verifiability. If they get angry, you have data. If they change the subject, you have data. If they demand an apology, you have even more data. Remember this: do not confuse a performance of innocence with the truth. Truth does not need makeup. It stands there, simple and bare, unafraid of the light. Question 3. So you're accusing me. This is role reversal. You ask a reasonable question. You point out something that doesn't add up, and instead of answering, they shift the frame. So you're accusing me. You really dare to suspect me. The moment you panic, you do exactly what they want. You start defending yourself. No. No. That's not what I meant. You step back. You soften. You apologize for noticing. And just like that, you lose before the real conversation even begins. A Stoic does not jump into that emotional trap. I keep my eyes steady. I breathe. I let the silence land on the table like a hammer. Then I say 3 words. Should I be just 3 words? But they strip away the mask. Because a truly innocent person will want clarity. A liar will be irritated that you refuse to play the villain. Do you understand? Should I be does not make a conclusion. It opens the door to the truth. It puts responsibility back where it belongs, on the person being questioned. If they answer with facts, good. If they answer with anger, you have seen something. If they answer with insults, you already have your answer. Let me repeat one Stoic rule. Truth does not need your apology in order to exist. You have the right to observe. You have the right to ask questions. Do not let anyone turn that right into guilt. Question 4. Do you trust me? This question sounds intimate, but often it is asking for a privilege. Do you trust me? Just trust me. Stop asking questions. Trust is beautiful when it is built, but when trust is demanded, It becomes a tool of control. A trustworthy person does not force you to trust them. They show you through consistency. Their words match their actions. And when something happens, they take responsibility. A manipulator wants a blank check. They are really saying, "Hand over your judgment to me." A Stoic does not hate trust. A Stoic rejects blind trust. I do not argue. I do not try to prove that I am not suspicious. I simply answer with principle. Trust is earned through consistency. Are you asking me to abandon my own judgment? That sentence changes the frame. It brings the focus back to evidence and behavior, not emotion. And if needed, I add, what exactly do you want me to trust, and what facts support it? That ends the game. A decent person will explain clearly. A manipulator will get angry because you refuse to hand over the keys. Remember, caution is not betrayal. Caution is wisdom. You do not drive with your eyes closed just because the driver says, "Trust me." And you do not hand over your heart or your judgment just because someone knows how to speak in a warm voice. Question 5. Why are you so sensitive? This is the dirtiest question of all, because it doesn't attack the issue, it attacks you. Why are you so sensitive? You're overthinking it. You're overreacting. Translated into plain English, you're the problem. You're imagining things. This is your fault. The goal is simple, to take away your strongest defense, your awareness. The moment you begin doubting your own instincts, they no longer have to convince you of anything. You blindfold yourself. Let me be clear. Being sensitive is not weakness. Sensitivity is a radar. People who pay attention notice problems early. Many people who call themselves rational are simply asleep to warning signs. A Stoic does not argue emotionally. A Stoic responds like a blade, calm, precise, no apology, no explanation. My response is, I'm not being sensitive, I'm observing. Does that make you uncomfortable? One sentence. Watch how quickly the atmosphere changes, because that question exposes the truth. They are not upset because you are sensitive. They are upset because you are aware. A decent person will ask, "What did you notice?" A manipulator will immediately attack. "Oh, stop making such a big deal out of it," because you've touched the exact thing they wanted hidden. Remember this. Never feel ashamed for noticing. Never apologize for asking questions. Liars survive on your silence. Stoics survive on clarity. And clarity is dangerous to anyone who depends on confusion. Now you can see the game. 5 questions. 5 hooks. Each one is designed to pull you away from the truth and drag you into emotion. When you're angry, you say the wrong thing. When you feel guilty, you stay silent. When you're exhausted, you give up. And that's how manipulators win. They don't need to be smarter than you. They only need you to lose your balance. A Stoic is not cold. A Stoic is simply not controlled. I don't need to win the argument. I only need to keep my mind clear, my boundaries firm, and my principles intact. Remember these 3 things. Silence, used at the right moment, is power. Observation is not a crime. The truth has no expiration date. You are not cruel for having standards. You are not difficult for wanting clarity. You are not weak for recognizing deception. You are awake. And in a world full of fog. Awake people are often disliked because they are harder to lead, harder to confuse, and harder to control. Choose whatever path you want. But if you ask me, I choose the one thing that makes me free. I choose clarity.